Don't touch my chair. Serena Vale's scream stopped the wedding quartet before the first vow began. At the center of the glass chapel, Black Maid Camille Brooks had one hand on the bride's gold chair. 300 guests turned as Serena swept down the aisle. Camille did not step away. She pulled the chair back, sat beside billionaire Dominic Hale, and folded her hands in her lap. The room erupted. Before we go further, subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because Camille had one reason for taking that seat, and it could save a life. Serena stopped at the altar. Get out of my place. Camille's deep brown face remained calm. This chair cannot be used. Dominic looked from his maid to his fiancée. Camille, what is happening? Serena reached for Camille's arm. Security, remove her. Camille held the chair firmly. If anyone moves it, do not touch the silver rose beneath the cushion. Dominic's expression changed. The head of security stepped forward. Serena laughed. She is creating drama because she has always wanted your attention. Camille looked at Dominic. Ask her why this chair arrived after midnight. Serena's smile disappeared. The wedding planner checked her tablet. The altar furniture was delivered yesterday afternoon. This chair was replaced at 12:18, Camille said. I saw 2 men wheel the original through the laundry corridor. Dominic turned to security. Check the cameras. The security chief looked uneasy. That corridor camera was offline. Who requested it? Serena interrupted. Why are we questioning staff during our wedding? Camille slowly rose without leaving the altar. Because there is a needle under this cushion. Gasps spread across the chapel. She lifted the velvet seat with a butter knife from the ceremonial table. Beneath it, a thin silver mechanism pointed through the fabric. Dominic stepped back. Serena went pale. What is that? You already know, Camille said. I have never seen it. Camille pressed a cleaning glove over the needle. A clear drop formed at its tip. Dr. Marcus Venn, Dominic's private physician, pushed through the guests. No one touched that liquid. He examined it carefully. It could be a concentrated anticoagulant. Dominic stared at Serena. If you had sat there, I would have been injured, Serena said. Someone tried to kill me. Camille shook her head. The needle is angled toward the right. The bride's chair had been placed on Dominic's left. Its right edge rested closest to him. The mechanism was designed to strike Dominic when he leaned toward Serena during the vows. A frightened murmur moved through the guests. Serena stepped backward. This is insane. Camille reached beneath the chair and pulled free a narrow tube. It ran through the carved leg and disappeared beneath the altar carpet. Security lifted the carpet. The tube connected to a small pump hidden inside a floral box. A timer showed 7 minutes. Dominic's mother rose from the front row. 7 minutes until what? Dr. Venn studied the device. Until the first kiss, according to the schedule. Serena's father, Malcolm Vale, moved toward the side exit. Dominic noticed. Stop him. 2 guards blocked the door. Malcolm raised both hands. I know nothing about this. Camille pointed toward his cuff. Gold paint marked the fabric, matching the fresh paint on the chair's roses. Malcolm covered it with his sleeve. Serena looked at her father. You brought that chair? He said nothing. Dominic's voice dropped. Why poison me at my wedding? Malcolm glanced toward the guests. You were never supposed to die. Dr. Venn stiffened. What was supposed to happen? A temporary collapse, Malcolm said. Enough to delay the merger vote. Serena whispered, You told me it was a harmless sedative. Dominic turned to her. You knew. She reached for him. I knew there would be an incident, not this. Camille stepped between them. You changed the seating chart 3 times to keep him beside that chair. Serena's eyes narrowed. You searched my room. No. You ordered me to steam your veil while your assistant discussed the timing outside. The assistant, Nora Finch, was no longer among the bridesmaids. Security searched the room. She's gone, someone said. The timer reached 5 minutes. Dominic's mother pointed toward the box. Turn it off. Dr. Venn examined the wiring. It has a pressure trigger. Moving the chair may activate it. Camille looked down. She was standing inches from the seat. Serena suddenly smiled. That is why she sat there. Dominic followed her gaze. A red light appeared beneath Camille's chair leg. Camille realized her weight had armed the device. The chapel doors locked. Metal shutters sealed every window. The speakers crackled. Nora's voice filled the room. Camille must remain seated. Dominic must complete the vows. If either condition changes, toxin enters the ventilation system. Dominic looked at the ceiling vents. Guests screamed. Camille sat again before the pressure sensor shifted. Serena backed away from the altar. Then the wedding screen turned on. Nora appeared inside Dominic's company laboratory, holding a second vial. Behind her stood Dominic's missing younger brother, chained to a chair. Marry Serena, Nora said, or everyone in that chapel breathes what was meant for you. Camille looked at Serena. The bride was not frightened anymore. She watched the timer with relief. Then Dominic noticed the wedding ring in Serena's hand was not hers. Inside it, a green light blinked in rhythm with the pump. Dominic stared at the green light blinking inside Serena's ring. Give me your hand. Serena closed her fingers around it. It's only the engagement ring. No, Camille said. It is transmitting to the pump. The timer showed 4 minutes. Guests pushed against the sealed chapel doors while security searched for an override. Dominic stepped closer. Remove it. Serena backed away. If I take it off, Nora may trigger the vents. You said you knew nothing. I knew about the collapse, not the gas. Camille remained seated, keeping the pressure sensor stable. Then tell us what the ring controls. Serena looked toward her father. Malcolm lowered his eyes. Dominic understood. You both knew. Malcolm spoke first. The ring confirms that Serena reaches the altar and completes the ceremony. And if she doesn't? The merger freezes. What merger? Camille watched Serena's face. The one she planned to activate through the vows. Serena turned toward her. You clean rooms. Stop pretending you understand contracts. I understand why you invited 3 board members who were not family. Dominic looked toward the front row. 3 Hale Biotech executives sat together, uneasy. One of them, Victor Lane, rose. This wedding has nothing to do with the board. Then why is your biometric tablet hidden beneath the altar? Camille asked. Security pulled back the floral draping. A black tablet was wired into the ceremonial microphone. Dominic's name, Serena's name, and joint consent appeared across the screen. Dr. Venn examined it. The vows are being converted into voice authorization. Dominic looked at Serena. You planned to use my vows to approve a company transfer. Serena's expression hardened. You were going to remove my father from the merger. Because his company falsified clinical trials. Malcolm snapped. Those trials saved us from bankruptcy. They endangered patients, Dominic said. The timer dropped below 3 minutes. Nora's voice returned through the speakers. Complete the vows. Dominic faced the screen. Release my brother first. He stays until Hale Biotech belongs to the Vale Partnership. Camille studied the live feed. A reflection revealed white refrigerated cabinets behind Dominic's brother. That is not the city laboratory. The city lab has blue cabinets, she said. Dr. Venn looked closer. The abandoned Briar Hill facility. Nora's smile faded. Security Chief Ellis sent the location to police. You found my brother, Dominic said. Not before the toxin releases, Nora replied. The timer reached 2 minutes. Camille watched the ring. Its light flashed faster whenever Serena moved. It is tracking her distance from the altar. Serena stepped backward. Bride position unstable appeared on the screen. If someone else wears it, the system may still recognize the bride, Camille said. Serena clenched her fist. No. Dominic caught her wrist, removed the ring, and placed it on Camille's finger. The warning vanished. Bride position verified. Serena stared. That should not work. The system recognizes the ring, not you, Camille said. The countdown continued. 1 minute remained. Dr. Venn pointed toward the tablet. Voice authorization is still required. Dominic reached for the microphone. I can reject the transfer. Malcolm shook his head. The system may interpret your full name as consent. Camille grabbed the vow book. The first page contained both names. She tore it out. Serena screamed. What are you doing? Removing the names. Camille handed Dominic the blank page. Speak without identifying yourself. He raised the microphone. I reject every merger, transfer, and contract connected to this ceremony. The tablet flashed. Voice not recognized. The countdown stopped at 43 seconds. Then Nora laughed. You stopped the transfer. You did not stop the ventilation system. The ceiling vents opened. Pale mist entered the chapel. Dr. Venn shouted for everyone to cover their mouths. Camille looked beneath the chair. The pump connected to a toxin box, but another tube ran toward the flower wall. The poison is not coming from the ceiling. The mist is a distraction. Security tore down the flowers. Behind them stood 6 pressurized canisters and a lock requiring Serena's fingerprint. Dominic faced her. Open it. She shook her head. If I do, my father loses everything. Malcolm shouted, do not touch it. Camille caught Serena's wrist without releasing pressure from the chair. Your hand is the only thing that can save everyone. Serena tried to pull free. The pressure sensor beeped. Camille sat firmly again. Dominic forced Serena's thumb onto the scanner. The canisters shut down. The mist stopped. But the chapel doors remained locked. The Briar Hill screen changed. Nora stepped aside, revealing a second captive behind Dominic's brother. A black woman in a nurse's uniform lifted her face. Camille's breath caught. It was her mother, who had vanished after exposing illegal drug trials 12 years earlier. Nora held a syringe against her neck. Now, she said, Camille will finish the vows in Serena's place. Camille stared at the screen as Nora pressed the syringe closer to her mother's neck. You want me to marry Dominic? Nora smiled. Not legally. The system only needs a female voice wearing Serena's ring. Dominic looked at the tablet beneath the altar. You built a replacement bride protocol. Malcolm answered. Contingency authorization. If Serena became unavailable, any verified woman could complete the merger. Camille raised her hand. So you planned to use whichever woman was easiest to control. Serena stepped toward her. Take it off. Camille did not move. If I remove it, the pressure system resets. Nora's voice filled the chapel. Begin the vows. On screen, Dominic's brother pulled against his chains. Don't do it. The Briar Hill files prove everything. Camille's mother lifted her face. Listen to him, Camille. Nora pushed the needle into her skin enough to draw blood. 30 seconds. Dominic crouched beside Camille. If we speak the vows, I can reject the merger afterward. No, Dr. Venn said. The tablet will lock ownership when both voices complete the phrases. Camille looked at the microphone. Then at the chair beneath her. The pressure sensor depended on her weight, but not necessarily her body. Bring me the marble flower pedestal, she said. Ellis understood first. 2 guards dragged the heavy pedestal closer. Camille shifted carefully while they slid its base beneath the seat. The sensor beeped. She froze. 1 more inch. The red light changed to green. Camille stood. The chapel did not explode. Nora's smile disappeared. Sit down. Camille removed Serena's ring. Immediately, bride position lost appeared on the tablet. She placed the ring around the microphone stem. Bride position verified. Serena stared. You tricked it. No. You built a system too cheap to recognize a person. A few guests laughed. Nora raised the syringe. Complete the vows or your mother dies. Camille stepped to the microphone. My name is Camille Brooks. The tablet illuminated. Female voice verified. Dominic reached for her arm. Camille. She continued. I stand before these witnesses to reject every agreement created through coercion, kidnapping, fraud, or forced marriage. The screen flashed red. Invalid ceremonial language. Camille smiled. It heard me. Dr. Venn looked at the code. She used the bride channel to record a legal objection. Daniel's voice came through Dominic's phone. It may suspend the merger if a verified participant declares coercion before completion. The tablet changed. Transfer disputed. Nora shouted and drove the syringe toward Camille's mother. But the woman twisted aside. The needle struck the chair. Dominic's brother kicked Nora's knee, and both captives fell with her. At Briar Hill, police broke through the laboratory doors. The feed shook as officers rushed inside. Camille's mother rolled away while Nora reached for a pistol. An officer disarmed her. The chapel erupted in relieved cries. Camille moved toward the locked doors. Open them. The system remained sealed. Malcolm laughed. You saved the hostages, but the chapel still answers to the legal bride. Everyone turned toward Serena. She folded her arms. I will open it after Dominic promises not to prosecute my father. Dominic stared at her. You nearly poisoned 300 people. I did not create the device. You protected it. Serena looked at Camille. And she stole my place. Camille stepped toward her. No. I occupied a chair you turned into a weapon. Serena raised her hand. Camille caught her wrist before the slap landed. The guests saw everything. Open the doors, Camille said. Serena tried to pull free. Make me. Camille turned Serena's hand toward the flower wall scanner. Her thumb touched the glass. The locks released. Police entered the chapel. Malcolm ran toward the side aisle, but Ellis tackled him before he reached the exit. Serena was handcuffed beside the gold chair she had weaponized. Then Dominic's phone rang. His mother answered from Switzerland. Dominic, do not trust Dr. Venn. Everyone looked at the physician. He stepped backward. Margaret continued. The anticoagulant was developed at Briar Hill. Only Marcus knew the dosage required to fake your death. Dr. Venn reached inside his coat. Camille saw the movement first. He pulled a second syringe and drove it into Dominic's neck. Dominic collapsed before anyone could stop him. Dominic collapsed before anyone could reach him. Camille caught his shoulders as Dr. Marcus Venn stepped backward, the empty syringe still in his hand. Do not touch him, Marcus warned. The compound has already entered his bloodstream. Security Chief Ellis aimed his weapon. Drop the syringe. If I drop it, You lose the only evidence explaining what happens next. Dominic's breathing slowed. Camille lowered him beside the gold chair. Antidote, she demanded. There is one. Where? At Briar Hill. He planned this before the wedding. You planned to steal the company. I planned to survive what came after. A medical file appeared beside Dominic's name. Status: legally deceased in 11 minutes. You are going to fake his death. The compound will stop his heart long enough for the system to register him as dead. The merger then transfers to the surviving ceremonial partner. To the physician holding emergency succession authority. Marcus stepped toward the altar tablet. You all believed the bride mattered. She was only the distraction. A dark line spread beneath the injection site. His mother said you knew the exact dosage. I designed it. Then you know how to reverse it. 10 minutes is not enough to reach Briar Hill. Camille, the antidote is not stored here, her mother said. Marcus removed it 3 days ago. Where did he take it? Check the wedding chair. Camille kicked the ceremonial table into his path. He stumbled, and Ellis forced him against the wall. Camille tore the velvet cushion free. Beneath the poison needle sat a second glass cartridge filled with blue liquid. Dr. Venn laughed. That is not the antidote. The cartridge connected to the same pump aimed at Dominic. You planned a second injection after his collapse. To make the death permanent. The antidote must be in Marcus's emergency kit. He never carries one drug without its reversal agent. Ellis searched Marcus's coat and found a silver case. Inside were 3 identical vials. No labels, Camille said. Choose carefully. Dominic's pulse weakened. 8 minutes remained. Serena looked at the vials. The center one. Camille faced her. How do you know? I saw Marcus use that case during the rehearsal. He said the left vial would stop a seizure and the right would cause one. He never mentioned the center. Camille held the middle vial toward her mother on the screen. Can you identify it? Turn it toward the light. A tiny green crystal settled at the bottom. That is the reversal compound. Camille filled a clean syringe. Marcus struggled against Ellis. If you inject him too quickly, his heart ruptures. Her mother said, half now. Half after 60 seconds. Camille injected the first dose. Dominic's body jerked. His pulse disappeared. No, Camille whispered. Marcus laughed. You killed him. Her mother's voice remained steady. Wait. 30 seconds passed. Dominic did not breathe. Camille began chest compressions. At 60 seconds, she injected the remaining dose. One heartbeat struck beneath her palm. Then another. Dominic dragged in a painful breath. Relief swept through the chapel. Marcus stopped smiling. The succession screen changed. Death registration failed. Dominic opened his eyes. Camille. I'm here. He tried to sit, but she held him down. Police secured Marcus beside Malcolm and Serena. Then every screen changed again. A legal authorization appeared with Camille's voiceprint attached. Emergency ceremonial partner confirmed. Serena stared at it. She completed the bride channel. Daniel Price called through the speakers. The system recognizes Camille as the surviving partner because Serena's authority was revoked. Camille shook her head. I rejected the ceremony. You rejected the merger, Daniel said. But the system registered your voice and the ring. Marcus laughed again. You saved him, but now the company belongs to her. Dominic looked at the screen. What percentage? Temporary control of Hale Biotech until an independent hearing. Camille removed Serena's ring from the microphone and placed it on the floor. I don't want his company. Dominic managed a weak smile. That may be why you should hold it. A second file opened. Briar Hill Clinical Trials. Hundreds of patient names filled the screen. Camille's mother appeared beside the records. These people were injured by drugs Marcus approved. Malcolm funded the trials. Serena helped hide the deaths through charity payments. Serena shouted, "I never knew patients died." Camille looked at her. "You knew enough to poison a wedding chair." Serena had no answer. Marcus pulled against his restraints. "The files are encrypted." Camille touched the altar tablet. Her temporary authority unlocked the archive. Every trial report, payment, forged death certificate, and internal recording uploaded to investigators. Marcus looked toward the doors. "There are things in those files you do not understand. Then a court will explain them," Camille said. By sunrise, Hale Biotech's criminal division had been frozen. Marcus was charged with attempted murder, illegal human experimentation, evidence destruction, and conspiracy. Malcolm faced charges for financing fraudulent trials and helping build the forced merger system. Serena was charged with kidnapping, coercion, attempted mass poisoning, and corporate fraud. Before officers led her away, she looked at Camille. "You sat in my chair and took everything." Camille stood beside Dominic's stretcher. "No. You turned that chair into a weapon. I stopped you from using it." Serena's eyes moved toward Dominic. "You will regret trusting her." Dominic answered first. "I regret trusting you." The chapel doors opened to morning light. Federal agents collected the gold chair, the ring, and every hidden device. Camille rode with Dominic to the hospital. He recovered slowly, but the compound caused no permanent damage. Her mother remained nearby while police protected the Briar Hill witnesses. Their reunion carried joy, anger, and grief for the years stolen from them. Camille did not pretend forgiveness could happen immediately. She simply refused to lose more time. 1 month later, the court confirmed Camille's temporary authority over Hale Biotech. She suspended every executive connected to the illegal trials, created a patient compensation fund, and released workers threatened into silence. When Dominic returned, she transferred control back under one condition. No medical decision can ever be hidden behind private contracts again. He agreed. He also created an independent ethics board led by patients, nurses, and laboratory workers. 3 months later, the glass chapel reopened. There was no wedding. Instead, families harmed by Briar Hill gathered for the first compensation ceremony. The gold chair remained inside an evidence warehouse. At the altar stood 2 simple wooden chairs, equal in height. Dominic found Camille after the ceremony. "You saved my life twice that day," he said. "I stopped one chair and found one vial. You also took a microphone when everyone expected obedience." Camille smiled. That part was easier. Dominic did not offer money or a title. "Would you have dinner with me?" "One dinner," she said. "Your chair or mine?" Camille laughed. "Separate chairs." He nodded. As they walked from the chapel, Camille looked back at the altar where Serena had screamed that the chair belonged to her. The chair had never been the source of power. Power had been the ability to refuse fear, expose the truth, and stand when everyone expected silence. Camille had not stolen anyone's place. She had created one of her own.